Hi.
Hi. We are up to this Breita, Alti, Kepeta Gadol. And this is more talk about being humble. I think that's what we're up to. That's what happened.
That's where we are.
Alti, Kepeta Gadol, Shumachnis is a ruach. Don't be like a big wind which allows a big opening that allows the wind in. Because Kopata, which he said evidently means again, big opening means you have lots of wind, means you're full of hot air and you're an arrogant person. Because going to be like the bottom threshold. Shakol Dashim Ba, everybody steps on it. Okay, so it says the Rabbi Chaim, Ibn Padel Shakol Dashim Ba. He's here, She'arnovich Shafel Batzmo, be humble and modest. But low capacity katan. Don't be like a small opening. Katsar Lev should not have a short of heart. She which degrades precious people. Distance you from people. That's what this means. I have no idea. Says the Bior. Lo kapes katan zelshon Bryce and Farish lo ye katsar alei she'eno shomer divrei chavero. Don't be a short of heart who doesn't listen to his friends' words. This degrades precious people if you don't have the patience to listen to them. If you don't have patience to listen to them, they're going to stay away from you. Again, you like the lower threshold. No. Well, let's see. If there's no threshold, it looks like the house is lacking and destroyed. You have to have anova. So the Chaim says here, I think that he says Abzu Nami Gemari. So I think he's saying that the line before the he merachka, right? Meaning Me'anasha was really the Gemara, right? So that first was Lashon Brisa, and then the Gemara comments because it's in Aramaic, right? So the Gemara comments that it's merachik you from people, and then the next one the Brisa. So then that's the Gemara is commenting, right? So on the first line of the Mishnah, that Minabai says etc. Okay, the Rabbi Chaim says Zunami Gemara. He the Farish Bryce comes to explain the Bryce. So many times the Bryce and Gemara got mixed together. And Bislam means to say Minabai says that made from a house you learn. Shetei knows you should be humble. If it doesn't have a threshold, it looks like it's destroyed. You also have to be a humble person. But even if you're perfect in all of the midos. If you don't have another, you are lacking. Like this house, which is glorious and splendid. If it doesn't have a scope, this threshold looks like it is lacking. Okay, so evidently it's necessary to have a scope on each rest. That's what it's going to tell us. I feel that's what it says going on. I feel even though you're complete all midos, you're missing something. The Achre made Bnei Ocean is obviously all part of the Gemara according to the Chaim. Some people say, "Ma gava rabba plania ilule gaiva." How great would so and so be if not for the fact that he was arrogant? Nothing has changed in the past 2,000 years. Lamecha came, and it comes to teach you it says kulam that somebody who's Hashem will try to be yotze everything. In other words, to have another vis-a-vis other people. So the Chaim Magavra plenty of lule gaiva. Magadu adam plenty of lule gaiva sheyeshbo. Again, Kirei Elokim V'Teskom Mikol B'Chol Shim Yesh Bo Yerushalayim Yosel Chol Miyostabos. Yinam Mishum Malach B'Noach in Kol Brios. If you have Yerushalayim, you get all Miyostabos. Or else, of course, you go with Nachas Ruach with all creatures. Rav Amar, he's really part of the Gemara. Rav is the one being the bright. The change to Eskoba Zoom Mechavin as of losses in only just like a threshold. Directs the doors and lines it up to open and close. It's nice motion. So to humility is a safeguard of wisdom. Says Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, you know, we talk shadelis nizgeres al askopa. The in askopa ain't on these geres. And there's no askopa, it doesn't close. I assume it sags. It gets or you know, if it gets stuck in the ground. Nova being humble, you can come to wisdom.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay. Says that was all the Breita and the Bryce and the Gemara mixed together. Now we have a new Bryce.
Okay, that seems unusual.
Yes. Well, he said it. He says not that way. It's what Chaim says. Says it happens a lot. Evidently himself we'll see. It happens again. Bryce, kiyase nemucha. Be like a low peg. Shakol tolimbo, on which everybody can hang stuff. Okay, I guess we don't learn the rest of the Bryce here. He says, they're low. When they stop to rest, they hang the stuff in the bag. Don't be short-tempered. They'll call neatly in bach. Everybody should be able to hang on you, shortly in bach, and ask questions. No, it's part of patience and other is to be willing to be a resource for other people.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll take up done, says Gemara. But we can ask you. That's an interesting reason why. He says, Yom is Yom Mitzvah Yom Mitzvah. You might talk up done. In other words, you shouldn't put it off and say, today I don't have to answer questions, tomorrow I'll answer questions, right? Today I don't be a resource, tomorrow I'll be a resource. Because by then, maybe it'll be too late, right? And you will not have fulfilled that mission and purpose, and you won't be remembered in a positive light as a result. It's a fascinating reason. Okay? Because of Sefer Ben Sira again. Of course, Yom HaSibascha. Remember the day of your being collected from this earth. Sof Cherpa. Obviously, a play on words. Gather up your embarrassment. Says the Biaor Shlalo Tehei L'Chol Cherpa. You should not be embarrassed. In other words, remember you're going to be gathered up, so make sure to gather up and don't leave behind embarrassment. Also, the Kabei Zchuyos, gather up merits. If Yom HaSeifas Adam, because the day a person is gathered, Aim Lavei, riches do not accompany him. The Rav Koch, nor does the great strength, material strength that he comes in this world. Rather, proper deeds go before you. And your righteousness will illuminate your eyes in the world to come. Sound advice. Brisa, imlakisa b'moncha. If you got afflicted by in your money and your possessions, oh well. Remember Eob. He got hurt both in his money and in his body. And if you get damage in your body, it can always be worse. Remember, Dasan Avira went down a lot. Says Biaor. It's always somebody gets word of the word. He gets him on Chaz, Eob. Shalaka Yoser, Shalaka Memon Gufa. That's not Biaor, Shalaka Yoser, Rabbi Chaim Shoela. It's interesting. I don't see the Nechama saying, oh well, at least we're not like Dasan Aviram, but okay. Yes, it works. Some people. Tani Eov, Tani Dasan Aviram. Why say both? Just skip to the top. Just skip to the end, right? Cut to the chase. Just use Dasan Aviram, right? Why Eov? So Shema Tamar Eov Milmas Ulam who Dasan Aviram Shalaku. No, it's not that. Not the question. The question is, I'm not sure what the question is. Let's see what it says. Tani doesn't the beer. Tani doesn't read thank you. Kasher at lay. Came Tani eel mountain. Let me say Dovas and beer. It's the other question. Once you said eel, why would you say Dovas and beer? Loka begufo. The nami loka begufo. Shita loka yosimimenu. It was loka begufo, but he obviously is loka more than you. So I guess the way he's learning Dovas and Aviram are mentioned not because they are worse. I'm not sure why not. I mean, to me it seems obvious that they died. But somehow the makshon here is the way he's learning, the way Rabbi Chaim is learning. He's not asking, he's asking, well, it's true, they went Chaim Shalom, but basically, Eov is enough. You see that people were afflicted more than you. I guess because the pshat is, I don't know exactly what.
Let's keep going.
Okay, so anyway, the answer is that Eov Mumas Olam Adasim Shloku B'Mamona V'Gufan. Let's see what it says. You'll see Shmos Dalit. So they became poor. They would go back to Egypt. The Dorim simultaneous base. But with Sova Nami Yorchaim Shov, local Gamba Gufa. The Gam come on, they lost their money again, and they lost their group. Can I just read Nami Loka Mamono? Can you have Nami Loka Begufo? So evidently, they're saying Dasabiam are not worse than Yov. Very difficult Gemara. And not only Dasabiam are worse than Yov, but they're parallel. And if you Eov was a tzaddik, but he was a non-Jew, and Dasabiam they were Jewish, although they were shoyim. So we're saying, either way you can comfort yourself with one of those two, right? Okay, that's all.
Okay,
Let's
let's pause for 1 sec.
Happy. What?
Pause for 1 sec. Sorry about that.
Okay, I'm not so happy with that Bryce and that Gemara, but okay. That's true. Next one. Bryce, I'll take a shell by Nakush Ein Mechshol Elabay 9. Don't stumble with your eyes. It says Chaim Maras Asuros Elabay 9 Sheinaim Sarsu Averninu. Eyes lead to sins. Those are the, of course, the parts of bridges. So the fallen Bnei Elohim, because they saw the daughters of men. What was their story? Initially, they're in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No, sorry. Initially, they said in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's like the Malachim also said this by Matan Torah. Why are you bothering human beings? You got us. Right? Yeah, Malachim. Why need human beings? Only Kuchabrichu. As Sam said, you're going to make bigger mistakes than they do. He bestowed upon them a Yetzirah, which Malachim don't have. The Pashas, the Pashas Malachim don't have Yetzirah because they're in the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it's hard to mess up in the presence of Hashem. And you're confronted with the truth of HaKadosh Baruch Hu right in front of your eyes, so to speak.
Okay.
Which is like with Marshaw and Maral's Pshat by Kofalim Harkagigis, that they're compelled to accept the Torah because they had no free choice at the moment, since they saw, the truth in front of them, right? So now, but by sending them down to this earth, HaKadosh Baruch Hu supplied them, so to speak, the Yetzirah, right? Actually, it's and they came down. That will eat Sabrisha, my Kamisani Bidveka. Oh no, so well, No, that's an answer. Michael Sani Bidveka. Interesting. Let's see what he says here. Azabazo Malach Kabbalah. Now, I don't think they necessarily start as Malachi Kabbalah, but that's what he says. The negative Malach, minions of the Malach HaMavis. V'ayub Ne'elim Elu Azor V'Azor Maya V'dayu Shani Malach and Borek. Amrei Meikor Kami Rachman V'Shash Chatu Dora Mabul Kisu Sanhedrin Lamed Ches. I thought they're talking about the Mountain Torah, but maybe but I guess Dora Mabul says the same thing. Still worse. The chisu, Vayidim Larts, Gavukli, Michael Mesani, Shkibim Yitzor, Michael to Allah Shachbu Bria. Interesting statement. Question. In other words, they're malach. They can't have relations. So what good does it do to give them the Yitzhara? So this obviously there are two opinions by Avraham Avinu and Malachim, whether Malachim actually ate or they just pretended to eat. Right? Assuming that they can't have physical relations. So how could they carry through on the Avera? So the answer is yeah, they couldn't have beer, but they still had a taiva for them. And they were intimate to the extent that they could possibly be with these human beings. So says the Gemara, so what does it mean that it says they have kids? So what do you mean they couldn't have bia? It says they did have bia. So it says Kim That's an amazing statement. I don't even know what to do with it. I never saw this before.
Does it mean Kevin Medical with Bale, the Gavraya?
Yeah, let's see the Chaim. Your guy see the Dulem. Asim Mikroy lo the have a Eladvika Ba'amba. Right, it's a question, right? It says they can only be clean and have intimacy without activity, and they have children. So came should dovkabam. Chaim became yiva lula ba'leihen. Yo the bunny ma'adim malachim. In other words, they were intimate with malachim, and they got some angelic qualities from that, and then they conceived with their husbands, and that's why the children were these giants, these powerful children. Okay, I never saw this before. It's a pele, but that's what the Meseches Kalla says. That actually they did not have normal relations, but they influenced the eventual future of these children. Okay, should we do one more brisa?
Yeah.
Al tivosh mishinecha. Okay, it's very simple. Don't be a fresser. So he says Eitzar. It says no, don't they literally? It's a euphemism. It says Rabbi Chaim shows nus. Don't be so involved in having relations. Shein ra'a v'regamu eres mivtach boged biyom tzara. A bad tooth and a stumbling leg are a treacherous security on a day of anguish. See what it means here? The shein ro'eb is nus, like a tooth which grazes in licentiousness. Against by law, a woman who rebels against her husband. And he too is just like women who's bogezah, so too is somebody who trusts a traitor on a day of anguish. So he says it's a little bit strange interpretation, possibly, but if there's a wicked tooth and a not a stumbling leg, but a leg which is damaging, like Shane Barrego and the Avos Nezikin and Baba Kama, so then that's referring to licentious women. Iftach Bogade, this is trusting a traitor on a day of anguish. My God in Peirush the Yolim Gzeir Shava Roedacha, the Rozonos Yabed Hon says great Roe, not Shane Ro'ah, Shane Ro'eh, a grazing tooth. And there's another part says that somebody who raises among prostitutes loses great wealth. See Mishlei Chavtes. In any event, language of tooth has to do with Avera. It's going, how do you know it's because of snus? Maybe it's because of eating and stealing. Says Uchla v'lashon gezela. You know, Bryce maybe you don't eat so much because you're going to get used to luxuries and you're going to become dishonest in order to be able to afford your luxuries. Right? So, which also is good advice. Low psychodice doesn't know. It's by Vera, let's see. It's about Arias. Vera of Znus. Lemonade is not out of Shkiko. I would know that because the pasuk of the Brisa before is the pasuk preceding this pasuk. I mean, these Brises are sequential, right? The previous side says Hashem Shalom Nine. There's I'm not sure if that's the next pasuk actually, but anyway. So, but it sounds sequential. So there's some linkage between the previous Brisa's pasuk and this pasuk. So if that's the case. Says Gemara, at least they Shema Tavor. I say Shlotocha Yotzidai. Says they might go do Averis, but it's going to become too involved in prostitution. Russian Tarak Tani law. Say it's in a nice way. You'll see, like it says, Achla Masapia. Says about a woman who is a prostitute, she eats and she wipes her mouth. Says Chaim, this is Shema Tavor, pay Shema Tavor de Avera. Not tea too much. Russian Tara, Russian Akia Naka. Nice way, euphemistic, nice way of saying it. That's where the pasuk writes, the way of a woman who fornicates is she eats it, she wipes her mouth. Then it says, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, so I think that there's also an Pshuto aspect to it, but obviously the Gemara is saying that there's a drasha here which links out because don't get drawn too much after this. Just seems to be very, very good advice. Okay. Okay. Take care. Have a good week.
You too. Regards.
Okay, bye-bye.